John Sapochetti, radio host, Boston Herald Drive, covering the New England Patriots, and joins us here on Big Board Sports on this Thursday morning. Good morning to you, John. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How are we doing?
Good,
Great.
man. Thanks for a few minutes. Well, my partner's trying to make a case for a Buffalo victory or at least cover 6 points against New England. What do you think?
It's going to be tough because, again, as you guys mentioned, Buffalo came here a few weeks back, shut out the Patriots 16-0. That was with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. Now we have Tom Brady back in, and look at how he's played the last 3 weeks. He looks like the league MVP so far. 8 touchdowns, no interceptions, so it's a completely different team. The other thing, guys, since the AFC East has been in existence as it is with New England, Miami, Buffalo, and the Jets, the Patriots have never been swept in a season series. Is that going to start now? I don't think so. So that's really the argument that you can make that the Patriots should win. The problem is, though, if you're a Patriots fan, we know that Rex Ryan is a coach that has had success against Tom Brady. Sure, Rex Ryan is 5-11 against the Patriots since he's been a head coach, but that's better than most other head coaches, right? And we know one of those wins was a playoff win here 6 years ago at Gillette Stadium. So Rex Ryan, he's been able to, I wouldn't say get into the head of Tom Brady, but he's been a pretty masterful defensive mind in kind of, putting some roadblocks up against Tom Brady. If he's able to do that Sunday, then the Bills do have a chance. If this gets into a shootout, no, they don't have the weapons to keep up with the Patriots, especially with the injury concerns with LaShawn McCoy.
And John, last week, I'm a Steeler guy, and I thought even without Roethlisberger quarterback, Pittsburgh's pretty good defensively. I thought maybe they could hang in there. I had them covering the spread, which I think was 7 points last week. And
right.
I watched that game, and it's just so impressive, New England offensively. They're a machine. I mean, that 2 tight ends opens things up for everyone else, and it's almost like you try to lock into this guy and someone else is going to beat you. I mean, how good do you think this team is playing right now offensively with Brady?
Guys, I'm not a Patriots apologist. In fact, I'm a Packers fan as much as I am a Patriots fan. But I look at the Patriots offense. Everyone around here has talked about 2007. I think they have more weapons. They're a deeper offense than they were in 07. Sure, Randy Moss, one of the greatest receivers we've ever seen, but we see Rob Gronkowski, maybe the most gifted tight end ever. If you cross those 2 players off as all-time greats, then you bring it down to Julian Edelman or Wes Welker. I think that's a draw at this point. And in fact, Edelman may be a little bit more explosive than Wes Welker was. Now you go down to the supporting players, and I think Chris Hogan, who you guys know well from playing in Buffalo, has really fit into the system. He did have a fumble last week, but he's a legitimate deep threat for Tom Brady. And then you add in the tight end Bennett, who is just another secret weapon that they have that I think they actually have more weapons now than they did in 07. Their running game is better than it was in 07. Blount's done a really nice job. James White's fitting in nicely. The offensive line is what it is. And Brady, even from 9 years ago, doesn't look that much different than he did 9 years ago, which is amazing. So I think this can be an offense that scores 30, 35 points per game pretty consistently. It's more versatile than the one in 07, which didn't have as good a running game as this one has. So, sure, this is going to be a tough matchup for the Bills defensively.
We are talking with John Sapochetti, radio host of Boston Herald Drive with the New England Patriots. Flip things around here, John. What about defensively? Because Buffalo did have success against New England the first time around, put some points on the board. Again, no Brady for New England, but do you think the Bills are going to have some confidence on Sunday that they can at least score against the New England Patriots defense?
Well, the thing about the Patriots defense, like many of Belichick's defenses, they bend, they don't break, they give up a lot of yards, but they're dingiest defense in the AFC in terms of points per game. The problem with that is from the Patriots standpoint is, and we saw that in that first game against Buffalo. Buffalo only scored 16 points, but their offense controlled that game. The Patriots couldn't get them off the field. This kind of goes back to the 2 Super Bowl losses against the Giants. The Patriots scored 14 and 17 points in those games, and partly because they couldn't get off the field defensively. Even though the Giants weren't scoring points, they put together these long drives. That's what Buffalo did in the first game. So obviously, I know it's a cliche, the best defense for Buffalo will be their offense. If they can sustain these long drives, even if they're kicking field goals, but eating up clock and giving the Patriots fewer possessions. So that's a big part of what the Buffalo offense is going to be. But with these injury concerns, guys, if they had all weapons available, I think Buffalo, as we've seen this year, can be a pretty darn good offense. But with the injury concerns, I think they're going to be, hamstrung at that point, no pun intended.
Well done there, John. Roger at the outset said, hey, my partner Zach is trying to make a case for Buffalo. I almost feel a defense attorney who knows his client did it.
He does. Every week, John, every week he tries to make a case. I have to sit here and listen.
A Trump supporter, right?
Yeah. And then, John, the week that I'm all bought in, what do? I take the Bills against the Dolphins. How did I make out on that pick?
Well, my question is to you. If the Bills are going to sweep the Patriots, and you talked about, what an anomaly that would be, but if they are going to win on Sunday, and we're talking hours after the game, what would the Bills have to have done in that game to knock off the Patriots?
pretty simple stuff. It's like that in any particular game, but obviously no turnovers and maybe some big play in terms of special teams. Now, the Patriots special teams, I know my good friend Ron Borges here, who's a Hall of Fame voter and our columnist at the Boston Herald, gives out a report card every week, and he gave an F to the Patriots special teams. And special teams coach Joe Judge and head coach Bill Belichick, they really take special teams seriously here, and I think that's part of the game they want to improve on. If the Bills can get some sort of special teams touchdown or some sort of defensive touchdown, that can obviously bridge in the gap. The key is no turnovers, giving the Patriots a short field because their offense is good enough. They don't need a short field. So it's all about turnovers. It's also about maybe getting the lead in the game, which they, of course, did with a shutout over the Patriots, because it would put the Patriots behind a little bit, and they really haven't faced that so far with Brady at quarterback. It's been fairly easy pickings, although the Cincinnati game for a while, the Bengals did lead 14-10 in the third quarter, but then they did what the Bengals always do and, forget how to win. So those are the key things. That's like that in any football game. That's not exactly, groundbreaking takes on my part, but sure, no turnovers and maybe some help from special teams or defense to get that cheap touchdown. And now you've got yourself a ball game. We know that crowd is going to be riled up in Buffalo, and we know Rex Ryan will have his team ready to play. And as I've said, he's done a good job as a defensive mind against Tom Brady over the years, even when he was a defensive coordinator with the Ravens. You remember in 2007, that Monday night game, which the Patriots pulled off to remain undefeated. Defensive coordinator for the Ravens at that point was none other than Rex Ryan.
John Sapochetti, great work as always. We appreciate a few minutes here on Big Board Sports, and I know we'll get back in touch as we continue to move on in this NFL season.
Anytime, guys.
Thank you, John. He's the radio host of Boston Herald Drive, John Sapochetti. Really good.
Love that guy.
Yeah, he's really good.